Episode 5, Enter Yo-Yo. Act 1, Flashing Metal. In the underground of an AIM data center, miles outside of New York City, AIM guards stand by. They're not on edge, and they're not being cautious. "Did anyone catch the game last night?" one of the guards says, when suddenly, their weapons are lost. A guard looks down at his hands, with a confused facial expression, wondering where his rifle went. What? The guard begins to say, as he feels a warm liquid flowing down his neck. He reaches up as if to stop the bleeding, and some other guards notice as they rush to his aid. "Davian is down! Be on guard! There's someone in here!" A guard says as he cradles his dying colleague. "That's the worst way to die," the other says, before falling to the ground dead in front of the live agent, and blood leaks from the hole in her head. Finally, there's one AIM agent left in the corridor. He's panicked, and he picks up his gun before swerving his head around and backing himself into a corner. "Whoever's doing that, show yourself now!" the guard yells angrily. Suddenly, his head is sent flying back as if he had been punched extremely hard, and it happens again and again until the front of his face is essentially destroyed. The guard slumps over just as the other was dead. Quake then walks in with her gun at the ready. "You could have saved some for me, you know," Quake says as she kneels down in front of two of the guards. A woman with metal prosthetic arms stops quickly next to Quake. "Sure, but where's the fun there?" Yo-Yo asks her, while staring down at the corpses. Daisy stands back up as she and Yo-Yo proceed into the next hallway. The two of them haven't always seen eye to eye in a lot of instances, but regardless of it all, they've managed to be friends and cooperate well together. The two of them make it to a sealed door. It's big and industrial looking, a drastic difference compared to the surprisingly high-tech base. Everything looks modern. For being an underground agency, they seem decently equipped except for this ugly-ass door, Daisy says as she stares up at the door. "Yeah, well, this place is on record as an old nuclear fallout shelter from the Cold War. Any changes made are probably to make this place look more like a data center," Yo-Yo says. The two of them agree that they have to get in there somehow, and they see a biometric reader that's attached to the door. Yo-Yo gets a look on her face, a face that's known by Daisy to mean that she's thinking of a plan. Just then, Yo-Yo zooms away, and seconds later returns with an AIM corpse. "Let's see what he can do," Yo-Yo says while dragging the dead guard to the door. Daisy looks down confused and asks about the heat signature that the guard clearly no longer has, and Yo-Yo tells her that the fingerprints are all that's needed. If the print is in the database, we're as good as in, Yo-Yo says, and she presses the guard's hand down on the reader. It scans the prints, and as if it were magic, the door opens. "Voila, huh?" Daisy says with a smirk and a chuckle as Yo-Yo tosses the corpse aside. "Yep, smooth like pudding." However, the light atmosphere is suddenly stripped away as Daisy looks forward. "Holy," she whispers to herself as Yo-Yo looks forward as well. Hundreds of servers litter the room. Cerulean lights glow as dozens of AIM guards patrol the area. "So what's the plan this time?" Daisy asks. "I take him out and you go behind me and search for the data?" Yo-Yo asks. Daisy nods intensely, and before Yo-Yo runs off, she turns to Daisy and says, "Take everything," before disappearing in a faded silver streak. Daisy quickly follows in the direction of Yo-Yo as she clears the rows. Entering one row, Daisy finds the mainframe and goes to work. She pulls out the built-in keyboard on the mainframe and starts typing into it. She sees files, thousands of them. Her eyes are wide as she sees all sorts of information that spans back as far as 2013. Did AIM go underground as soon as Aldrich died? Daisy asks herself aloud, and it seems to her that was always the plan. Daisy pulls out a S.H.I.E.L.D drive with an insane amount of storage on it. Alright, let's get this. Act 2, Hidden Away. After several minutes, Quake finally meets Slingshot on the opposite end of the server farm. "You get it all?" Yo-Yo asks. Daisy smirks and pulls out the drive before asking, "Does Captain America fly?" causing Yo-Yo to chuckle, before stepping away and heading toward the exit. The two of them move out and into an extremely large and open room that appears much like a warehouse, and they see something that makes their jaws drop. Dozens upon dozens of AIM robots stand dormant. Quad mechs, warbots, riot bots, and synthoids all stand motionlessly as Daisy and Yo-Yo ready their guns. "What the hell is all this?" Yo-Yo asks rhetorically. Daisy looks at the robots as she passes by them. She takes note of the riot bots' shock batons that are built into their hand, imagining how painful it would be to get hit by. Meanwhile, Yo-Yo takes note of the quad mechs. They stand at no less than 20 feet tall, and the legs are frighteningly huge. Yo-Yo knows that they're not something you'd want to be under. "Anything in the files about these?" Yo-Yo asks Daisy. Daisy's voice is seemingly lost as she stops to stare at a synthoid. Its eyes are on, but there's nothing there. "Daisy!" Yo-Yo says with a louder tone, causing Daisy to snap out of it. I don't know, but I sure hope so. A few hours later, the two arrive back at HQ, and they stand in front of the commons area waiting for Connor and Alfonso. The both of them look bothered, but they try not to let on. Connor and Alfonso walk up to the duo, and Alfonso's gaze becomes soft as he sees Yo-Yo. Elena, he says with a warm smile. Alfonso? She replies in a soft tone, before the two embrace each other tightly. Connor watches this happen and looks at Daly with slight confusion. Ah, sorry. Where are my manners? Alfonso says, as he slowly pulls back from Elena. Connor, this is Elena Rodriguez. We call her Yo-Yo. You'll find out why soon. Elena, this is Connor Campbell, the Northeast soldier, and... Alfonso says before suddenly he's cut off by Elena. Let me guess. You're Lincoln's cousin, she says. See, this is why you haven't gotten a surprise birthday party, Daisy says with a smirk. Alfonso quickly gets serious, his expression becoming quizzical as he questions what Daisy and Elena found. Hundreds of files that date back over a decade, and... Elena says while hesitating. Her vibe changes and Alfonso immediately picks up on the change. And what, babe? He asks. Daisy swallows before telling him that they found robots. Dozens upon dozens of robots. Alfonso's eyes widen and he becomes on edge himself. I guess this was a backup plan for Extremis and Killian's death, Daisy says while slightly shrugging. Alfonso's gaze drops, and he's seemingly lost in thought. However, he plugs up again before saying, Show me what you got. The four end up in front of a S.H.I.E.L.D. monitor, and Daisy quickly plugs the drive into the monitor. It automatically pulls up the recording of Daisy and Elena making their way through the holding area for the AIM droids. Connor's face looks uncomfortable, and Alfonso already seems to be coming up with ways to destroy the robots. We need to see how many of these there are, Alfonso says. Daisy nods and moves the other way from the desk, stating that she'll sift through some files and dig some things up.